Today we will continue with our analysis of business market. As we could see here, the model in Table 7.1 is a buy-grid framework. In the stages of buying process, recognition can be triggered by internal and external stimuli. The internal stimulus might be a decision to develop a new product that requires new equipment and materials, or a machine that breaks down and requires new parts. A purchased material turns out to be unsatisfactory, and the company searches for another supplier or lower prices or better quality. Often the company will assign a product value analysis engineering team to the project. Product value analysis, PVA, is an approach to cost reduction that studies whether components can be redesigned or standardized or made by cheaper methods of production without adversely affecting product performance. The buyer next tries to identify the most appropriate suppliers through trade directories, contacts with other companies, trade advertisements, trade shows, and the internet. The move to online purchasing has far-reaching implications for suppliers and will change the shape of purchasing for years to come. Companies that purchase online are utilizing electronic marketplaces in several forms listed on this slide. Catalog sites. Companies can order thousands of items through electronic catalogs, such as WW Grainger, distributed by e-procurement software. Vertical markets. Companies buying industrial products such as plastics, steel or chemicals, or services such as logistics or media can go to specialized websites called e-hubs. Plastics.com allows plastics buyers to search the best prices among thousands of plastics sellers. Pure Play Auction Company. Ritchie Bros. Auctioneers is the world's largest industrial auctioneer, with 44 auction sites worldwide. It sold $3.8 billion of used and unused equipment at more than 356 unreserved auctions in 2013, including a wide range of heavy equipment, trucks, and other assets of the construction, transportation, agriculture, material handling, oil and gas, mining, forestry, and the marine industrial sectors. While some people prefer to bid in person at Ritchie Bros. Auctions, they can also do so online in real time at RibAuction.com, the company's multilingual website. In 2013, 50% of bidders at Ritchie Bros. Auctions bid over the internet. Online bidders purchased $1.4 billion of equipment. Spot or exchange markets. On spot electronic markets, prices change by the minute. Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, is a leading electronic energy marketplace and soft commodity exchange with billions in sales. Barter markets. In barter markets, participants offer to trade goods or services. Private exchanges. Hewlett Packard, IBM, and Walmart operate private exchanges to link with specialized invited groups of suppliers and partners over the web. Buying alliances. Several companies buying the same goods can join together to form purchasing consortia to gain deeper discounts or volume purchases. TopSource is an alliance of firms in the retail and wholesale food-related businesses. Websites are organized around two types of e-hubs: vertical hubs, centered on industries, plastics, steel, chemicals, papers, and functional hubs, logistics, media buying, advertising, and energy management. Set up direct extranet links to major suppliers. A company can set up a direct e-procurement account at Dell or Office Depot, for instance, and its employees can make their purchases this way. Form buying alliances. A number of major retailers and manufacturers such as Costa, Holt, Best Buy, Carrefour, Family Dollar stores, Lowe's, Safeway, Seals, Super Value, Target, Walgreens, Walmart, and Wegmans food markets are part of a data sharing alliance called One SYNC. Several auto companies, GM, Ford, Chrysler, formed Cognizant for the same reason. Set up a company buying sites. General Electric formed the Trading Process Network, TPN, where it posts requests for proposals, negotiates terms, and places orders. After evaluating proposals, the buyer will invite a few suppliers to make formal presentations. The choice of attributes and their relative importance vary with the buying situation. Delivery, reliability, price, and the supplier reputation are important for routine order products. To develop compelling value propositions, business marketers need to better understand how business buyers arrive at their valuations. Researchers have identified 8 different customer value assessment methods. Companies tended to use simple methods, though the more sophisticated ones promise a more accurate picture of CPV. Despite moves towards strategic sourcing, partnering, and participation in cross-functional teams, buyers still spend a large chunk of their time haggling with suppliers on price. Solution selling can also alleviate price pressure and comes in different forms. Here are 3 examples. Solution to enhance customer revenues. Hendrix UDT has used its sales consultants to help farmers deliver an incremental animal weight gain of 5% to 10% over competitors. Solutions to decrease customers' risks. ICI Explosives formulated a safer way to ship explosives for quarries. Solutions to reduce customers' costs. WW Grainger employees work at large customer facilities to reduce materials management costs. Risk and gain sharing can offset price reductions customers request. Companies are increasingly reducing the number of their suppliers. Ford, Motorola, and Honeywell have cut their number of suppliers 20% to 80%. These companies want their chosen suppliers to be responsible for a larger component system, achieve continuous quality and performance improvement. At the same time, lower prices each year by a given percentage. They expect their suppliers to work closely with them during product development, and they value their suggestions. The lessee gains a number of advantages. The latest products, better service, the conservation of capital, and some tax advantages. The lessor often ends with a larger net income and a chance to sell to customers that could not afford outright purchase. The buyer may contact end users and ask for their evaluations, rate the supplier on several criteria using a weighted score method, or aggregate the cost of poor performance to come up with adjusted cost of purchase, including price. The performance review may lead the buyer to continue, modify, or end a supplier relationship. Business marketers are increasingly recognize the importance of their brand. In business-to-business marketing, the corporate brand is often critical because it is associated with so many of the company's products. Some business-to-business marketers are adopting marketing practices from business-to-consumer markets to build their brand. Many business buyers prefer to buy a total broadband solution from one seller, called systems buying. This practice originated with government purchases of major weapons and communications systems. The government solicited bids from prime contractors that, if awarded the contract, became responsible for bidding out and assembling the systems subcomponents from second-tier contractors. The prime contractor thus provided a turnkey solution, so-called because the buyer simply had to turn one key to get the job done. Services play an increasing strategic and financial role for many business-to-business firms selling primarily products. Adding high-quality services to their product offerings allows them to provide greater value and establish closer ties with customers. A number of forces influence the developmental relationship between business partners. Four relevant ones are availability of alternatives, importance of supply, complexity of supply, and supply market dynamism. Based on these, we can classify buyer-supplier relationship into 8 categories. Basic buying and selling. These are simple, routine exchanges with moderate levels of cooperation and information exchanges. Bare bones. These relationships require more adaptation by the seller and less cooperation and information exchange. Contractual transaction. These exchanges are defined by formal contract and generally have low levels of trust, cooperation, and interaction. Customer supply. In this traditional supply situation, competition rather than cooperation is a dominant form of governance. Cooperative systems. The partners in cooperative systems are united in operational ways, but neither demonstrates structural commitment through legal means or adaptation. Collaborative. In collaborative exchanges, much trust and commitment lead to true partnership. Mutually adaptive. Buyers and sellers make many relationships, specific adaptations, but without necessarily achieving strong trust or cooperation. Customer is king. In this close cooperative relationship, the seller adapts to meet the customer's needs without expecting much adaptation or change in exchange. Vertical coordination can facilitate stronger customer-seller ties, but may also increase the risk to the customers and suppliers' specific investments. Specific investments, however, also entail considerable risk to both customer and supplier. Transaction theory from economics maintains that because these investments are partially sunk, they lock firms into a particular relationship. Sensitive cost and process information may need to be exchanged. A buyer may be vulnerable to a hold-up because of switching costs. A supplier may be more vulnerable because it has dedicated assets and/or technology or knowledge at stake. When buyers cannot easily monitor supply performance, the supplier might shirk or cheat and not deliver the expected value. Opportunism is some form of cheating or undersupply relative to an implicit or explicit contract. Opportunism is a concern because firms must devote resources to control and monitoring that they could otherwise allocate to more productive purposes. Many institutions are characterized by low budgets and captive clienteles. Governmental organizations typically require suppliers to submit bids and often award the contract to the lowest bidder, sometimes making allowance for superior quality or reputation for completing contracts on time. Governments will also buy on a negotiated contract basis, primarily in complex projects with major R&D costs and risks and those where there is little competition. That's for this chapter of Analyzing Business Market. Next time, we will continue with tapping into global market. Thank you.